Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Grace Ambrook, and here we are at tonight's call is about the power and the magic of worth, and it's sitting within a framework around being on path and creating what you're worth. So, just looking at the title of the larger framework that we're working with, it's like being on path, meaning we are in that space where we are feeling the momentum of who we are and what we're here to contribute with, and creating what you're worth. That will take on a whole lot of different meaning as we go through tonight's sharings, activations, processes, and hopefully dropping in some truths that will enable you to actually really embody your worth. So first up, I think it's fair to say that all of us can relate to having worth stories, and whether that's self-worth stories or worth of life itself at the extreme. You know, it's an energy that is talked about a lot, and I think one that particularly when things are not going the way that we would like them to go, then our worth gets triggered. And one of the reasons for actually having this call at this time was that as Martha just asked that question, you know, with what's going on in Israel, what do you think? And because when there is turmoil, it pushes our sense of worth. But worth is actually one of the energies that is foundational to us showing up as the truth of who we are. So it's a very dynamic one builds the other. And so if we have our sense of worth attached to our status, how many zeros we have in the bank account, because of the way that the changes are rolling through, if our worth is associated or dependent or attached to those things, you can relate to how quickly that sense of worth may fall away, and then there being a sense of, oh my God, what do I do? Who can I trust? What am I like? What is going on here? And that I mean, we've all been there. When you have a low sense of self-worth, it's a really awful experience. So I also want to take the conversation and the delivery a little further into consciousness tonight. I think we've all got that understanding of worth. So I want to bring some other things to it in order for us all to know the power and magic of our worth, and spend some time actually honoring that worth and seeing it from a much bigger perspective at the end of this evening. So the biggest enemy of worth is judgment. And so the judgment of who you are. So whenever you're not feeling the worth of who you are, you know that you're making a judgment either on yourself, on somebody else, or on life itself. When I work with people, I talk a lot about enabling people to move out of the dynamic of polarity, so right and wrong, good and bad, and judgment sits within that framework. So we're judging things to be right, judging things to be wrong, judging things to be good, judging things to be bad. And when we do that, we're making a very, very, very small reality, much smaller than is actually what is available to us when we know the truth of who we are, why we're here, and what is actually possible for us. One of the things that helps us to be very connected to those possibilities is our sense of worth, which we're going to expand. So what I would like to do to begin Actually, there are some people who will be either on the call live or listening to the recording who actually don't know me, may not have worked with me before, haven't met me. So I'm Grace Ambrook, and I've been adding magic to people's lives for a number of decades. And a lot of people say they can't actually explain what it is that I do, which is excellent, perfect. I know I'm on target, but they do know that they actually are feeling way bigger within themselves and more capable within themselves to actually live a life of their choosing and to create a life of their choosing. So I love mentoring people through transformation. So when people come to me, there's normally something that's out of whack, and we together, dissipate that wackiness and add in a dimension of awareness about the truth of who you are and how to apply that to your everyday life. That just changes basically everything that's going on. So that's the work I love. That's why I'm here, to raise that consciousness, that awareness, and we're touching on that today in relationship to worth. What I would like to do is just to bring everybody into the space a little bit more. So we're meeting some people are not at the end of their day, but most of us are probably at the end of our days. So part of that, I don't know what it is that she does, is because I work a lot with energy as well as words. And we're going to just do a very simple energetic connector as we begin. The intention is to bring everybody into a state of higher receptivity. So, I know a little bit of what I'm going to say. There's other things I don't know what I'm going to say, but I know that whatever comes out is actually has a capacity to touch you in ways that will really help you embody why worth is worth worthing about. So I just invite you all to uncross any of your arms and legs. We're only going to do this for probably a minute or so, but have everything uncrossed. To close your eyes, to be conscious of your breath as you are breathing in, to place your left hand on your heart and just very gently tapping your heart. It's like, I am fully here, I'm fully present. Acknowledging the heart, your heart, the heart, your heart, the heart. And while you're tapping your beautiful heart, I'd like you to imagine that your feet are covered in sparkles of light. And this light from your feet, it's like it's tickling Mother Earth. Say, Mother Earth, I'm connected to my heart, I'm present to our worth, and I'm present to our collaboration and our cooperation, and feel that sparkle and that connection enhance. It's like remembering that we have this infinite relationship orchestrated by the universe for the universe. And this is actually who you are. You are the universe in this conscious form of the body. An incredible creation possible on this planet and in this dimension. What a miracle in itself. And in that, what a miracle in itself energy, allowing yourself to be present to all that's available here. Beautiful. Oh, yes. Opening your eyes when you're ready. See, that feels better already, doesn't it? I think it does. So, as I started to touch on, if your worth is based on external validations only, it's very wobbly. We're walking into a world that is changing more rapidly than it's ever changed before. And this is one of the big changes, like we're going through a revolution. The Industrial Revolution changed the way people live forever. This time that we're moving into is changing the way we live forever. But there's a very big difference with this one. It's moving very fast. And I'm going to say this time and time again tonight because it's really important, that one of the major anchors is our worth, as everything around us goes wobbly. So it can't be external only. You will receive external validations, but your worth can't be based in those. And I just want to acknowledge that we all have victim stories attached to our worth. And it's the attachment to the story that keeps us in any type of victim mentality. So that would look like us questioning our worth. So even when there's shit going on around us, our worth actually hasn't changed. Unless you're telling yourself a story about your worth because of the external. So I want to share, before I do that, that when we're in victim, there's no consciousness around worth. That's why it's very important that we learn to discern when we've gone into victim mode, because victim will have a worth story. So there are some, excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. There are some energies. There are some things that will help us identify when we're in discordant worth energies. So let me just do that and scratch my nose. Sorry. So signs of a discordant worth pattern is when you're overthinking, when you're reactive to roadblocks, delays, and difficulties, because these happen, in a rich life. It includes everything. We judge nothing and include everything. If we're overgiving, that's a classic sign of worth stuff going on, trying to prove our worth by overgiving, trying to prove our worth by taking on other people's stuff. And when we're holding back, we're going, oh God, am I actually worth, like, is what I'm wanting to say actually worth anything? And when it's a changing world that we're living in, what we're doing tonight is beginning the relationship to even a deeper understanding of our worth. So it's so interesting. Like, I've been working with energy and people for, close to 3 decades. And what I'm noticing is even people who have, got it sorted, including myself, blah, 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 use energy all the time, all of that sort of stuff. Right now, life is revealing any of these imbalances more loudly than ever before. And the only reason that that's happening is because of the amount of light that is actually coming onto this planet. And this is part of why we're actually here, is to be that light, to radiate that light, to resonate that light and that frequency. So anything that's in the way of that, like overthinking, being reactive, overgiving, taking on other people's stuff, just as some examples, where you're still utilizing the victim and the separation story, that they could well be poking you up the bottom right now. And that's, again, one of the reasons why I decided to do this presentation tonight, is because at the end of it, you'll have at least one other, probably one experience and 2 tools that you can actually use to bring yourself back into worth. It's also really important that your sense of worth is actually changing. So where you might have known your worth and been really like embodying that, it's actually getting an upgrade. We are in serious upgrade, all of us. And if you're conscious, you will have agreed and chosen to be poked up the backside to make sure you are the brilliance that you truly are. Because it is the brilliance that you truly are that will touch the world in ways we can't even imagine. We've got no idea how we're going to touch the world, like crazy stuff. And that's why having your feet on the ground, which is what, some of you would have read the post or the email that I sent, and I was talking about having your feet on the ground in your worth, because everything around us is going, whoa, that doesn't look like that anymore. The bank keeps asking me where I'm sending my money. What's going on here? What do I say? It's like we've never had to well, I don't know whether never, it's not quite true, because I know people have had to justify what they're doing with their money before, but the average person probably hasn't. And it's like it goes, hang on a minute. And it makes you stop in your tracks and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. And, you've got to kind of metal up and go, hang on a minute. What are my values? What are my values? Because your values reflect what you know about your worth. And if you're not embodied in your worth, you won't know what your values are. So you won't know where to stand. I'm not a huge advocate of fighting, but that's a whole other evening. And so this worth is such a connective energy. It allows you to embody, to show up, to have conversations with people that are close to you, people you've never met before. It's like I can feel the energy now. It's like, oh my God, who am I? And what is my worth? And where most people then go is to their mind to try and work it out. And we're going later on in this, no, not too long, because I'm going to try and keep it to an hour, but I'm a very verbose person. I'll accept that. Where we're going to go is actually to a whole new level of connection to that from an energetic level that can then feed how your brain thinks about it. Because your mind won't take you to your true worth. It'll more than likely take you to projections, not what is actually sitting at the essence of your being. So our heart is the connective energy to our worth, not our brain. So, our mind is I think I've got a slide. I think I've got a little, yes, heart is the connective energy and mind is the outworker. So it's a bit like judgment. We have been taught, imprinted, programmed, educated to make judgments in order to make choices and decisions. So what I'm presenting with you tonight may be a brand new way for you to even start thinking about how you make choices and decisions. You're judging what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad. What I'm starting to introduce to you is a whole other aspect of possibilities that will create a world and a reality that actually works for you. So heart is the connective energy and mind is the outworker. When you gift your mind the brilliance of the heart, it will function according to that brilliance. If you give the mind nothing, it will make up its own stories of worth, which are based mostly on external situations and not the touching of the essence of who you are, which is where we're going very shortly. So a lack of connection to worth blocks the possibilities of more. Now, why this is important right now is that the advancement of life on this planet, there are going to be more choices, more possibilities, more opportunities. There's going to be more of everything. Now, I don't think there'd be one person who wouldn't go, oh God, that could be a bit daunting. Like, oh, well, how do I make a choice then? How do I choose? You choose from your worth and from your values. Then you will be on path, creating what you're worth. This is the power and the magic of worth. And the lack of it will block the possibility of more. Now, we all know that if we're blocking the universal pathways, would that feel absolutely fantastic, or does it feel like a bucket of shit? And sometimes we're not conscious that we're actually blocking what the universe is actually gifting to us. And that's why I'm bringing you this point. A lack of connection to your worth blocks the possibility of more. And we are moving into a time where there's going to be more. There's more possibilities. I know this sounds crazy, but there will be actually more time. Doesn't feel like it sometimes, but there's just going to be more because we're moving into the quantum recognition also of space. So I'm just going to drop that in for a moment. Don't have to understand it. Just kind of let your body go, oh, space. What does space feel like? Because there's going to be more space in our world. So I mentioned before that we have stories of worth, and we all have them. Nothing right, nothing wrong. But each and every one of those stories are a separation story from the truth of who we are. So we blame other people, we blame the universe, we go, I had no choice. And then we judge ourselves as like, well, I buggered that up. I'm a bit of a dickhead. What have I done now? And all of those eat away at your sense of worth. And so but each of you will have an individual story in relationship to that requires some love and care and attention. But for this shared situation tonight, if you could just acknowledge that it is the story where you've unconsciously or consciously separated from the essence of who you are, which is the universe. So there are all sorts of separation stories. And we're going to be breaking some of those down tonight. So whatever your story of worth is, when I'm talking about it, I'm going to be talking about the separation story. So, because any limitation, no matter what it is, any limitation is a separation story. And so when you can shift your consciousness, instead of going down rabbit holes sometimes, actually going, oh, I'm just in a separation story. If I was actually really allowed myself to know about unity and oneness and infinite possibilities, what would I be choosing right now? Or have you fallen into an automatic reactivity response, which deepens your sense of separation from the essence of who you are, why you're here? So as you acknowledge and allow your true worth, can you feel how this will influence your choices? Does that make sense? It's like if you're in low self-worth, what sort of choice would you make? If you're in high self-worth, what sort of choices will you make? So as you acknowledge and allow your true worth, this energy infiltrates your choices. And choices grounded in your worth are wildly more creative than struggle, survival, lack, or separation. This is a planet designed, its inherent worth, no, it's not an inherent worth, its inherent energy is creative energy. Any of the indigenous populations, they all have a dreaming story that created the mountains and the rivers and the trees. This is a planet to come here to create. We are, as human beings, here to master our ability to create. Bottom line, every single one of us. So you can feel that, worth. If I'm grounded in worth, I'm wildly more creative, which means you are connected to the synchronicities of life. And you begin to build a strong relationship for creating your life consciously and in sync. So choices are the way you create the pathway. And you're creating what you're worth, and you're being on path. Again, you can see how it is a very circular model I'm introducing you here. Because we're taught to live very, very linear, in a straight line, linear. But in essence, it's actually a spherical experience. So fundamentally, when you have awareness of who you truly are and the worth of that, you have the potential to choose and change anything. Whew, take a breath. But if you're disconnected from the moreness of that, it can be pretty crappy, yeah? So I want to talk a little bit more about the separation story. Sorry, I'm just looking around for the time because I'm in full screen. I don't know where I'm at. Never mind. I'm just going to keep going. So the separation stories, humanity, here is humanity on Earth, cruising around, creating, having a great life, in sync, in tune, because humanity knew they were the universe and there was no separation. One day, a thing that we call now the ego jumped in and said, hey, dudes, what happens if we chose to separate from the universe, from source, so that we can prove that we can get back? Why don't we separate to show them how amazing we are? Oh, what a great idea. Okay, let's separate. So humanity said they separated, which is an illusion because it's impossible to separate because we're all one. You see how the original separation story, I call it the illusion of the illusion. Thanks, Kathy, for the time check. The illusion of the illusion, that we're actually separated. And then since the egoic presence, for want of a better description, where humanity's gone, oh my God, we're separated from source. Hang on a second. Shit, that means we can't be certain of anything. Jesus, I hope he doesn't have more wheat than me. Oh my God, what happens has he got more cows than I've got? Yeah. So it created this whole split in the dynamic of the psyche, of the psyche and the circuitry of humanity itself. And where we're at right now in our evolution is finding our way back to unity. So this separation story, it's created a whole simulation reality based on lies that we think is the truth. And so, and it's so interesting because then we're actually living in a simulation, and then we're trying to create from a simulation, which is an illusion. And that's where things don't work, because they don't work. But anyway, that's a deeper exploration that is available for anybody who would like to take that pathway. But what I'd like to do tonight is to begin to collapse where we have got entangled in the separation story and in this living from the simulation and then trying to create from the simulation, as opposed to trying to create from the infinite possibilities, which is where our worth sits. So where I'm going to do this process with you now, which is about releasing you from your attachments to the victim story of separation that doesn't allow you to embody your full worth. If you can just come with me, that would be good, because I'm going to use a whole lot of words, because words are magic, because they're energy and they're sound. Sound healing is, again, being recognized as one of the fastest ways to move energy. And so there are a lot of words in here. These are the words that have developed over decades of me working with energy, and I know how to move the energy around. So it can be a bit confusing. I invite you just to come with me on a journey. Anywhere, anytime, or anyhow, where you have invested and attached yourself to the wrongness and rightness of the judgments of your worth, will you collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear any and all of that energy? Just a simple yes or no to yourself. Anywhere where you've used meaning as a definition of worth, as an adjudicator of worth, are you ready, willing, and able to disentangle yourself from that perspective, that meaning defines worth? And any attachments and investments that you have in that, go to the point of trans. They pass through polarity. And any or all of the creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Any of them where they're attached to a point of creation in this life or any other, in this dimension or any other, any and all of that energy now meets the color of the sound octarine and collapses, disintegrates, dissolves, and disappears. Anywhere where you have used beliefs to determine and define your worth, are you ready, willing, and able to collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear any and all of those attachments and investments of using beliefs to actually define worth? Anything that doesn't allow that meets the color of this sound. Anywhere where you have used conclusions to define your worth, will you liberate yourself from those conclusions? Conclusions of limitations. Your worth is infinite. Your worth is not even attached to this life. So any and all of the conclusions that you have about what your worth is and what your worth isn't, will you allow yourself to dissolve, disintegrate, disconnect, disassemble, disintegrate any and all of those conclusions? Will you allow yourself to liberate another level of connectivity to your infinite worth? Anything that doesn't allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Anywhere where you've used expectations to define worth, all of the expectations you place on yourself and your worth, can you, will you detach, disinvest, deconstruct, and destructure any and all of those expectations? Will you give yourself more space? And anything that doesn't allow that drops into a vacuum and just instantly disappears. Will you allow yourself to imagine that you are in infinite space? and that everything is space. You are space. Imagine that there's all this space between your cells, and then your cells are infinite space. You might like to relax your body a little bit. Take another breath. Ooh, beautiful. So you have more space to receive more worth, more awareness, more consciousness around your worth, which is what we are going to do in a little minute. So I touched on this just before. Let me just do this for a minute. I touched on this just before about the energy of humans, what we actually think of humans, like what do we think of the human experience? So in so many circles you hear we're a soul having a human experience, and okay, but what's your version of human? What is your version of human? So do you think humans are a waste of space? You think humans are dumb? Do you think humans are stupid? Because, you're a soul having a human experience, your sense of worth, and then you're simultaneously projecting, it's so dense here, and, humans are basically pretty naive, and they've lost consciousness they have to a degree. That's why you're here. But this what judgments are you holding of humanity in itself, and are they serving you? Because we're talking about worth, and you're a human, you're in human form. So it's worth refreshing what you think of humans, which is why I mentioned to you that humans are infinite creators. When you allow yourself to actually connect to that, then you can begin to create your life according to your worth. On another more direct kind of level, and I'd love to have a bit of feedback from you guys in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. Can those people who can relate to, one of the fears about having good self-worth is that at some point, you might become a bit arrogant. So can people relate to that arrogance? It's a common, oh, I don't want to be up myself. Do you actually know who you really are? Oh, I don't want to be an arrogant prick. And so the thing about arrogance is you can actually only be arrogant if you're not true to yourself. So when you're in your worth and arrogance can't exist at the same time, because there are, I think the word's oxymoron, because worth is so natural. You can't have arrogance in worth. So anytime you come across an arrogant person, you actually know that they're not embodying their worth. They may be embodying their mental perception, which is what I was talking about before, of what their worth is. And so if you're actually truly embodying your worth, there will not be a skerrick of arrogance in your system. So there's a good story to drop immediately. So yes, Pia is not connected to your heart and soul, absolutely. And therefore you have to make up a version of yourself, because you're not connected to your heart and soul. You've got to make up a mental version of yourself, which then looks arrogant, because it It's made up. Nicole, yes, saying positive things about self makes me vain, and people say I think I'm better than them. Yeah, totally. You're not vain, you just actually know who you are. So you've got to own your essence. And it is that reactivity is something that is a separation story. So absolutely. Good job. So in that, worth is, how can I not be worth? For I simply am. We're going to touch on this in a minute. Because people putting the dots together here, that this is, your worth actually has nothing to do really with who you are. Like your worth is like inherently in you. Worth is not how can I not be, for I simply am. How can I not be worthy? I am the universe, because we are all one. So this is building building your consciousness and your awareness around where your worth truly sits. And it is a shift in consciousness. And I want to talk just quickly about consciousness and applying it to your world, which is why I have bought my new eyeliner. I call this consciousness eyeliner. So when we hear new things, it's like a new eyeliner. So I've been watching this eyeliner on Facebook. The ads kept coming up, and it was an eyeliner specifically designed for more mature skin. Da, 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 da. Anyway, so my old eyeliner had it. So I thought, oh well, I'll purchase this new eyeliner. This is amplified by putting on makeup when you wear glasses, which is in itself a completely new art. Anyway, so I get this new eyeliner, and I'm a bit excited because, everybody, all the reviews were extraordinary. Everybody's going, it's so soft, it goes so applies so easily, it's beautiful, and I can whip it up and I can do all these things. Oh, this will be fun, this will be great, right? So day one, I get the eyeliner and I do my thing, and I put my glasses back on, and I go, oh my God, it looks disgusting. Like it was all broken, and it was too thick, and it was blotchy, and I'm going, oh my God, what have I done? And it comes with this little smoothie thing out, and I'm going, oh, smoothie. I had to take it off and put it on again. It's like, oh my God, I've been ripped off big time here. Anyway, day two comes along, and I go, okay, all right, let me have another go. Still not flashed, had to do it twice. Day three comes along, I go, okay, I'm starting to learn how this thing works. Right? Eyeliner consciousness. It's completely different from the way that I've been used to applying eyeliner. The texture's different, the pressure was different, everything is different. So when we learn something new in consciousness, we have eyeliner consciousness. We have to play with it a little bit before we get it to work for us, before it looks good on us. And it's like, I'm sitting here going, if you change this, your relationship with worth, this will change your world. And you'll go, oh, great, let me do that. What did she say? Like, what did she say? Like, oh, it doesn't work. Right? So I've introduced you to eyeliner consciousness because it's the same thing. When you learn something new, when you go, hang on a second, my worth actually lies in me knowing myself as the essence of who I am. If I allow that energy to come into my awareness and into my consciousness, how do I invite that awareness to come in? Oh, an infinite being, an ultimate creator. Oh my God, I can create with my worth. I can be on path creating my worth. And I just need to practice applying this because it feels different, it looks different, it works different. Eyeliner consciousness. That's your reminder. So let's have an experience of this, yeah? Before we do that, is there any questions before I take you through a process where you connect in with this energy of your worth? Are there any questions or comments before we do this? Ladies. Actually, there was a couple of guys who registered. I'm just checking to see if any of them are on live. Doesn't look like it. But guys, thank you. Yay! I think I called you in. I had a interesting awareness a couple of weeks ago around the sacred masculine. So I might have called you in, which is great. Any questions before we do this? Nope. Beautiful. Okay. So you can have your eyes open or closed. There are no rules here. No rules at all. And we're going to be working with the energy of the chakra system. And I'm sure you're all familiar with that. There are 7 major chakras. And if somebody isn't aware of it, if they can just pop a comment in the chat, I'll go back and cover it if I need to. We're also going to be working this evening with the Soul Star chakra, which is the chakra above the crown. And we're also going to be probably, I think, touching the stellar gateway, which is about the connection to your higher awareness. And the reason that we're doing that is because we're bringing higher awareness of your worth into your reality so that you can go out with your eyeliner consciousness and begin to apply it to your everyday life. So, closing your eyes if you choose. And just imagining again and reconnecting to that space that you experienced, the space between your cells, the space of your cells, and allowing that space to become even spacier or more spacious. And it's like all of your energy is liberating itself and freeing itself up to just be lighter and to have more space. So your energy is becoming lighter and it has more space, and you can feel more space, and there is more space. And in this space, there is an invitation for you to look into the energy of your heart and imagine that there is a switch there. And I'd like you to turn it up. So it's a switch with a dimmer, yeah? And so I'd like you to, because it's on, otherwise you wouldn't be on this call. So the light's already on in the heart. I want you to use shouldn't call it a dimmer switch, should we? We should call it a lightening up switch. And imagine that you, by your choice, are turning that light up. Beautiful. So that light that you're turning up can begin to travel to all the spaces that you've opened up. So the light is traveling to all the spaces that you've opened up, And there's another invitation to increase that space again and see it being more and more and more space. And just imagine that that space and that light is actually starting to like bounce off and connect in with other light. And when the light meets the light, there's these beautiful sparks. So the light meeting the light creates these beautiful sparks of light. And here you are, creating light and space. And in this light and space, can you find any question at all around your worth? Like, this is you. What is this worth? What is your light meeting light, creating light? Can you feel the worth of that? The magic of that? You are this. This is you. What if this light meeting light, creating more light, is the foundation of your presence on the planet? What if you being conscious of this is the greatest gift? What if you truly are the gift? What if your consciousness of this is the foundation of your worth? It's simple, and it's bright, and it's infinite, and it's connected and connective, and it creates more and more and more and more. And it's you. You switched it on. You turned it up. And let this be in your memory of you, not the stories of separation. Let this be the memory of you, your essence. The light is on. There's space. The light meets light, creates more light. What are the possibilities? Outside any stories of limitation. What if you allowed the light to meet the light? What if you're the consciousness of the light meeting the light? Everyone and everything you meet, touch and create, you know that you're the light, meeting the light. That's your consciousness. What's that worth? And with this knowing, and with this remembering, it's activated in the very center of your brain. You have this memory alive now. You remember the light of your worth. It's in your brain. You can access it any time. And all the cells in the prefrontal cortex, which is how you connect to this, all of those have been activated too. So the memory sits in the hippocampus, but the prefrontal cortex has got, oh, I know what this light is. I know my worth. I'm the light that meets the light that creates more light. It's in your brain. As your heart switched on the light, now the brain can receive it. Doesn't have to look for anything. It's already in there. Beautiful. How good's that feeling? And just using your breath, bring yourself back into your room, your expanded room. Perfect. Yeah. Just taking a breath. Give yourself a moment. If you want to write anything down, now's a good time. If you'd like to share anything, unmute or into the chat, more than welcome. What you'd like to acknowledge, it's really good to acknowledge, to embody it more. Excuse me.
Hi, Grace.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi. That was really nice. I actually was looking at myself in the room, but felt myself in the room. Whereas normally when I think about things, I can see myself, but don't. It's like that distance of who she is. So this time it was, yeah, I actually felt it.
Fantastic.
Like I could hear it and feel, that there was others around. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, no, that's great, because it is absolutely connective. It is the oneness. It's like truly recognizing we're all the light, whatever that means in your everyday life. It's not a cognitive thing necessarily. But it definitely shows itself. Even today, as I reminded myself of that everything is a gift. I'm a gift. Life is a gift. The shit that was going down is a gift. And so it's like, if I see this as a gift, what can I receive? If this is a gift, what can I receive? If this is a gift, what can I receive? So I went on for about half an hour. And then I had 3 amazing phone calls where literally what I'd spent what I was very confused about on an everyday logistical situation. And I'd spent a couple of hours trying to sort it out, working out which is the best way to go. Literally, a couple of phone calls, all resolved, super easy. They were, about some things to do with the moving, super easy and super cost effective. Like, instead of it being a problem, it's that connective energy. This is the power of this. Yes, Kathy.
Yeah, I felt in that moment of where I felt disconnected, and like I've been having a story for the past couple of years, and as you taking us into that moment of the light and seeing yourself as light, I just saw that moment where I switched myself off, and the confrontation that I was in that time of how I felt, because it was a very stressful time and I didn't have the energy at that time to, in a way, I suppose, express myself in my fullness. So it all just came out what I felt was wrong. And then I just felt so disempowered because I gave my power away at that moment. So that was really lovely because I was able to reconnect.
Absolutely.
And switch that on again. So thank you. That was definitely a gift. That's a gift.
Yeah, totally. And it is the energy of the light transforming the shadow, which is also available to us now. Like when we access the light rather than do the rabbit hole work, like this is not a one rule thing, but what I'm saying is that our capacity to transform ourselves is rapidly advancing. We used to have to go down to all the rabbit holes in order to instigate change and to find our worth. With the quality and the coding of the light now, 75% we can do with the light. Some of it we do a little bit more rabbit holing with, but it's not the same rabbit holes. It's not dark down the rabbit hole. It's down the rabbit hole to find the light and bring it to the surface. It's not to discover why. Any other things that people would like to share or reflect upon?
Hi. Can I talk? No. Can you hear me? You.
Sorry, Martha, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, okay. I just want to say a quick thank you. My phone's going to die. And then all these fish came to the shore as you were talking. I've tried to capture a photo and I'll send it to you later. Thank you. It was perfectly timed today that you did this for me. So thank you. And love and light to everyone else. I've got to go because my phone's going to die.
Okay. No worries.
But thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Martha.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Brilliant.
Hi, Grace. I'm not sure if my internet connection has just been showing up as a little bit unstable, so I'll hopefully you'll hear this. Yeah, I just wanted to say that was really beautiful. I found myself sort of expanding into, feeling that spaciousness, and as I was creating that spaciousness, I found myself going to those parts of my body that I know are struggling a bit at the moment, and the systems in my body that are struggling a little bit at the moment. And I'm not sure if I was meant to do that, maybe not, but it just happened anyway.
The light will take you wherever you need to.
Yeah. And so I was curious about what you just said a moment ago about that and about going down the rabbit holes, and I found myself just taking my awareness went to these elements of my health at the moment, and there's parts of my body that need where there's a sense of constriction and blockage. And yeah, I just found myself feeling more expansion and openness around that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully,
you know, when something is at the body level, there's a worth. You know, what are you worthy of having a body that functions for you? And so when we have spent quite a few years going down rabbit holes and we think that's what everything is required, that's actually now no longer the case. So when the awareness and the light went to those places, it was liberating the energy that was stuck there, whatever worth stories you're running. Remember at the beginning I said all of the separations, all of the meanings and significances and the conditions that we have, and they actually at the moment they're holding disconnection from worth stories in place. The meaning and significances, the conclusions, the belief systems, they're holding separation in place now. And that's exactly, and you know, and that's why I've introduced this work. And for those people who want to take it further, there's an opportunity to do that. There's a 5-week to strengthen this connection, to open this up, to spend some more time letting the light, learning how to let the light make the transformation. Where it might get jammed up, you know, you have the opportunity to do live coaching that will benefit everybody in that. And at the end of the call, which is coming up very soon, you know, and I'll email this to you as well, I'm giving you a couple of possibility phrases to actually play with that will continue to open up the energy. And so you get to decide, you get to choose what transformation you allow from this evening. You get to choose what transformation you choose from the phrases that I'm about to give you. And you get to choose whether you go, hang on a second, if I get my worth sorted, you are so empowered in every other aspect of your life, whether it's your health, whether it's your business, whether it's your relationship. And if that fundamental worth is wonky, this is why this work, I think, is so important, because it's foundational to everything. And life, and you know, in different aspects of our life will show up other areas of where our worth is wonky. And all of this is, and there's nothing right or wrong about it. It's like, oh, I'm ready to look at that now. Whereas, you know, we've been trained to make it a problem. Whereas the work that we're doing over the 5-week program is, it's not a problem. This is absolutely a possibility to go further and deeper into the truth of who you are. And then you can apply that to anything in your life, everything in your life. So because we've gone over time, I do want to give you the 2 things. Where's my little screen share? And oh, that's a good one. Well, let me go back. Worth is not measured, it's treasured. So what we did today, what we did tonight, was to treasure your worth. We connected in it. We weren't measuring it by any external. You actually had the first step of treasuring your worth. Your worth, fundamentally, at the very essential part, is your light. And then we get to say, okay, let me take that energy and apply it to the things that are showing up in your world. And so you might want to take a screenshot of these. As I said, I will send them to you when I send the recording. But if I choose beyond judgment, what am I willing to receive? If I choose beyond judgment, what am I willing to know? And anything that doesn't allow that collapses, dissolves, disintegrates, and disappears. Now, these phrases are about, they're not looking for answers. You're actually looking for awareness. Does that make sense to people? Tell me whether that makes sense or not. You're not looking for an absolute answer. You're looking for awareness of something that then allows you to make a choice. An answer is different from a choice. And
so, Grace, is that awareness of the separation?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's gone, oh my God, I've never seen it that way before. Oh, I'm going to fill that up with light. It's like, oh my God, that's where the gap was. Oh, never seen it that way before. And that's what these curiosities, these questions actually do. It's got, oh my God. So if as I said to you before, if everything is a gift, what can I receive now? If everything's a gift, what can I receive now? If I choose beyond judgment, what am I willing to receive? And what we did tonight was allowing you to receive more of you. And then over the 5 weeks that we would work together, it's like, okay, more of me. Then how do I relate that to my relationship? How do I relate that to my business? How do I relate that to my finances? And we'll get in there and move the energy around and get this foundation really embodied so that whatever you choose to do, your worth is with you all the way. If you'd like to have a look at what's involved with that, that's the link to it. My website is heartsoulexpansion.com/SP/being on path to. And for anybody who chooses to be involved with that within 24 hours, you also have a 30-minute personal session with me during or after the course, which starts, I've completely forgotten the date. My head is so full of dates with moving. It's at the end of the first week. No, it'll be the last Wednesday in October is when we begin, and it runs for 5 weeks. Stop share. There we go. So thank you, everybody, for being here. If there are any questions, now's a good time. And if not, thank you all so much for being here. The recording is coming out tomorrow, and it'll have the links with it. And then it won't be 24 hours from now. It'll be 24 hours from when you get the recording. So yeah. So what will that be? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah. Look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Love. Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Pleasure.